An influential U.S. lawmaker from New York on Friday reintroduced a resolution in the U.S. House of Representatives to award the prestigious Congressional Gold Medal to Mahatma Gandhi in recognition of his promotion of peace and nonviolence. The Congressional Gold Medal is the highest civilian award in the United States. After introducing a resolution in this regard in the U.S. House of Representatives, Congresswoman Kathleen B. Maloney said Mahatma Gandhi's historic Satyagraha movement for nonviolent resistance inspired a nation and the world. His example energizes us to devote ourselves to the services of others. Residences in apartment complexes and gated communities returning from interstate travel are mandated to carry RT-PCR negative report which is not older than 72 hours. In the absence of the report, they compulsorily have to undergo an RT-PCR and stay at home until the results are out and negative. In the wake of an increase in COVID clusters and containment zones in the city, the BBMP Chief Commissioner Gaurav Gupta announced the latest measures. More than 160 containment zones were reported in the city and half of these are apartments. Following neighbouring Tamil Nadu's government move to cut tax on petrol by Rs 3 per litre, leader of opposition in Karnataka Assembly, Siddaramaiah on Friday urged Chief Minister Baswaraj Bommai to cut the price of both petrol and diesel in the state. Siddaramaiah tweeted, Tamil Nadu has cut the petrol price by Rs 3, helping lakhs of common men. I urge CM of Karnataka, Shri Baswaraj Bommai, to follow the same and cut the price of both petrol and diesel in Karnataka. Twitter executive Manish Maheshwari, who has recently been transferred to the US, has said he is looking forward to leveraging his India experience to drive revenue growth in new markets around the world. On Friday, Twitter announced that Manish Maheshwari, against whom an FIR was registered in Uttar Pradesh in connection with a probe related to a video of an alleged hate crime, has been transferred to the US. While the company did not specify any reason for the change, it said Maheshwari will move to the US as Senior Director of Revenue Strategy and Operations Department and focus on new markets in the latest role. The company has also not disclosed details of the succession plan after Maheshwari moves to the US. According to a provisional list of speakers released by the UN, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to address the annual high-level UN General Assembly session in person on September 25th. The list and schedule are subjected to changes, and the presence of world leaders in the United Nations headquarters for the high-level annual session will significantly depend on the global COVID-19 situation, particularly as the highly transmissible Delta variant rages in the US as well as across other UN member nations. According to the first provisional list of speakers for the general debate at the 76th session of the UN General Assembly, Modi is scheduled to speak at the high-level session on the morning of September 25th, the first leader listed for the day. Social media giant Twitter unlocked the accounts of former Congress President Rahul Gandhi and other Congress workers on Saturday morning. The accounts of close to 5,000 Congress leaders and workers were temporarily locked last week for posting pictures of the parents of a minor rape and murder victim in Delhi. Besides Rahul Gandhi, the Twitter handles of other Congress leaders like K.C. Venugopal, Randeep Surjewala, Rohan Gupta, Pawan Khera and Manikam Tagore were unlocked after deleting the controversial tweets. As part of the appeal process, Rahul Gandhi has submitted a copy of the formal consent letter to use the referenced image via our India grievance channel, a Twitter spokesperson said. We have followed the necessary due diligence process to review the appeal in order to protect the safety and privacy of the affected individuals. We have updated our enforcement action based on the consent provided by the people depicted in the image, the spokesperson added. In a bizarre case of human revenge, a 45-year-old tribal man reportedly bit a snake to death after the latter bit him in a remote village in Odisha's Jajpur district. Kishore Badra was returning home after working in his paddy field on Wednesday night when a snake bit him on his leg. Badra managed to capture the viper and bit it to death in a bid to take revenge. Following the incident, he came back to his village with the dead snake and told his wife the whole tale. Canada plans to resettle more than 20,000 vulnerable Afghans, including women leaders, human rights workers, and reporters to protect them from Taliban reprisals, Immigrant Minister Marco Mendicino said on Friday. The effort is in addition to an earlier initiative to welcome thousands of Afghans who worked for the Canadian government, such as interpreters, embassy workers, and their families, he told a news conference. As the Taliban continues to take over more of Afghanistan, many more Afghans' lives are under increasing threat, he said. He did not provide a timetable. Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan said some Canadian special forces were in Afghanistan taking part in the relocation effort but gave no details. The challenges on the ground are quite immense, he said. Emergency workers battled to relieve flood-hit areas of Turkey's Black Sea region on Friday as the death toll rose to 31 in the second natural disaster to strike the country this month. The floods, among the worst Turkey has experienced, brought chaos to northern provinces just as authorities were declaring wildfires that raged through southern coastal regions for 2 weeks had been brought under control. Torrents of water tossed dozens of cars and heaps of debris along streets, destroys bridges, closed roads, and cut off electricity to hundreds of villages. The US Department of Homeland Security is a new terrorism warning bulletin said violent extremists could view the re-imposition of COVID-19 related restrictions following the spread of coronavirus variants as a rationale to conduct attacks. The new DHS bulletin also warned of the risk of targeted violence around the 20th anniversary of the September 11 attacks on New York and Washington around religious holidays. The department said that COVID-19 related stress has contributed to increased societal strains and tensions, driving several plots by domestic violent extremists, and they may contribute to more violence this year.